Are you planning a trip to Europe? Before you pack your bags, there are some countries you might want to think twice about visiting. In this video, we'll uncover the top 10 unfriendly European countries. Whether it's cold hospitality, language barriers, or high crime rates, these destinations are known for being less than welcoming to visitors. So let's dive in and find out which countries made the list. 1. Russia. Russia is often perceived as one of the most unfriendly European countries, largely due to its reserved and stoic cultural demeanor. This perception is compounded by the fact that Russian hospitality can feel cold and unapproachable to outsiders who are not familiar with its cultural nuances. The language barrier adds another layer of complexity. English is not widely spoken, and tourists who do not speak Russian often find themselves struggling to communicate even the simplest of needs. Additionally, Russia's complex and often bureaucratic visa procedures can be a significant hurdle, creating a feeling of unwelcome from the outset. The country's political climate, particularly in recent years, has also contributed to an atmosphere where foreigners, especially from Western countries, might feel mistrusted or scrutinized. Despite these perceptions, it's important to note that many visitors do find the Russian people warm and hospitable once they get past initial barriers. Russians are known for their deep sense of pride in their country and culture, and they often take great joy in sharing this with those who show genuine interest and respect. In smaller towns and rural areas, the famed Russian hospitality can be more evident, with locals eager to share a meal or a story. Therefore, while Russia may come across as unfriendly on the surface, deeper connections often reveal a much different reality. 2. Hungary. Hungary has earned a reputation for being unfriendly due in part to the rise in nationalist sentiments and a growing sense of xenophobia in recent years. Many travelers report experiencing a lack of warmth from locals, which can make the country feel unwelcoming. This attitude is often reflected in public service sectors, where interactions can feel brusque or even hostile. The language barrier is another significant factor, as Hungarian is a unique and difficult language for outsiders to learn, and English is not as widely spoken as in other European countries. This can lead to frustration on both sides, as tourists struggle to navigate their way through daily interactions. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that these experiences are not universal. Hungary has a rich cultural history, with stunning architecture, thermal baths, and a vibrant culinary scene that draws millions of tourists each year. Many Hungarians are proud of their heritage and are willing to share it with those who show respect and a genuine interest. In rural areas and smaller towns, visitors might find a different, more welcoming attitude, with locals who are curious about foreigners and eager to make connections. So while Hungary may have pockets of unfriendliness, it also has many areas where tourists can feel genuinely welcomed. If you are enjoying the video, please support us by subscribing to our channel, click the like button and share the video. It means a lot to us. Thank you. 3. France. France, particularly Paris, has long held a reputation for being unfriendly, especially towards tourists. This perception stems from the stereotypical image of the aloof Parisian, who is often seen as unwilling to speak English or assist visitors. The high volume of tourists in major cities like Paris, Lyon, and Marseille can lead to a sense of fatigue among locals, who may come across as impatient or dismissive. Furthermore, the French value their language and culture highly, and tourists who do not make an effort to speak French or understand local customs may be met with less warmth. On the flip side, many travelers find the French to be polite, helpful, and even charming once they step outside the crowded tourist zones or make an effort to speak the language, even if it's just a few words. In rural areas and smaller towns, the experience can be quite different, with locals who are eager to share their culture and traditions. The perceived unfriendliness of France can often be a matter of misunderstanding cultural norms, rather than a true reflection of hostility towards outsiders. Engaging with the French in a respectful manner and showing an appreciation for their way of life can often lead to a much more positive experience. 4. Italy. Italy is renowned for its breathtaking landscapes, rich history, and delectable cuisine, making it a top destination for travelers. However, in some of its most popular tourist spots, like Rome, Venice, and Florence, the sheer volume of visitors can lead to a sense of hostility. Tourists are often seen as a disruption to the daily lives of locals, especially when they engage in behavior considered disrespectful, such as dressing inappropriately for religious sites or being overly loud in public spaces. This can result in Italians appearing unfriendly, as they may show signs of frustration or impatience towards tourists. Beyond the crowded tourist hubs, Italy's renowned warmth and hospitality are more apparent. In smaller towns and rural areas, visitors often experience the famous Italian friendliness, with locals who are eager to share their traditions, stories, and even their food. Italians take pride in their regional identities, and many are happy to introduce visitors to the unique aspects of their local culture. While tourists in heavily trafficked areas may sometimes feel unwelcome, those who venture off the beaten path often find that Italy's reputation for unfriendliness is not entirely deserved. 5. Austria. Austria, known for its stunning alpine scenery and rich cultural heritage, can sometimes feel unwelcoming due to its strict social norms and a general preference for order and quiet. Austrians are often perceived as reserved, and they value privacy and formality, which can come across as coldness to those from more expressive cultures. In cities like Vienna, locals may appear aloof or unfriendly, particularly towards tourists who may not be familiar with local customs or who might inadvertently disrupt the orderliness of public life. 6. Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, with its beautiful capital Prague, is a popular destination for tourists. However, the high volume of visitors, particularly in Prague, has led to a sense of fatigue among locals. Tourists often report feeling unwelcome, citing unfriendliness in service industries and a general sense of impatience from locals. This can be partly attributed to the language barrier, as Czech is not widely spoken outside of the country, and not all locals are comfortable speaking English. Moreover, the influx of tourists has led to the commercialization of certain areas, where interactions may feel more transactional than genuine. 7. Switzerland. Switzerland is famous for its stunning landscapes, pristine cities, and high quality of life, but it can sometimes come across as unfriendly to tourists. The high cost of living and visiting Switzerland can be a barrier, making it seem as though the country caters more to wealthy visitors and residents. This economic factor can create a sense of exclusion for those on a tighter budget. Additionally, Swiss society values privacy and discretion, which can make locals seem distant or unapproachable. The reserved nature of the Swiss can be misinterpreted as unfriendliness, particularly in urban areas where people are less likely to engage with strangers. 8. Belgium. Belgium, known for its historic cities and delicious cuisine, has a reputation for being somewhat unfriendly, particularly in the capital, Brussels. This perception is partly due to the complexity of its linguistic landscape, with both French and Flemish being official languages. This division can create confusion for visitors, and locals may appear impatient or unwelcoming when linguistic misunderstandings arise. Additionally, Belgians are known for their reserved nature, which can come across as aloofness to outsiders, especially in busy urban centers. 9. Germany. Germany, with its rich history and diverse cultural offerings, is sometimes perceived as unfriendly due to the stereotype of Germans being direct and blunt. This straightforwardness, while valued in German culture, can be misinterpreted by visitors as rudeness or hostility. Germans place a high value on efficiency, punctuality, and order, which can create a formal atmosphere, particularly in professional and public settings. In busy cities like Berlin, Munich, and Frankfurt, the pace of life and the focus on productivity can make locals seem less approachable. 10. Greece. Greece is typically known for its hospitality, but in recent years, some tourists have reported feeling unwelcome, particularly in popular destinations like Athens and Santorini. The country has faced significant economic challenges, which have affected the local mood and led to frustrations that can sometimes spill over into interactions with tourists. The high volume of visitors in peak seasons can also lead to a sense of overwhelm among locals, resulting in less patience and warmth. Moreover, there have been reports of scams targeting tourists, which can create an atmosphere of distrust. Have you visited any of these countries? What was your experience like? Share your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon for more travel insights and tips. Happy travels!